I would say your future is not defined by where you come from, no matter you come from a small town or a big town. If you are honest with your own self, if you trust your inner self, my inner child, make your story your strength.
We all have a unique view of the world we are in. How you overcome your challenges or attain your goals. Every experience in life has the potential to inspire, influence, and impact those around us. Welcome to the 3i Stories podcast by Better Version of You.
Hello again, friends, and welcome to the 3i Stories podcast by Better Version of You. Today, I'm super excited to interview another amazing human, someone who's had a humble beginning but showed resilience and character to be where she is today. So I'm super excited for this conversation. Let's not prolong the excitement and let's welcome Ananya Narayan, the director of Kiwiana Financial Services Limited. Ananya, how are you today?
Hi, Pritesh. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good and very excited for our conversation to come. Ananya, to get us started, how was life growing up as a child for you?
So let me start from where I am from originally. So I'm proud to say that I'm from a small town. I'm a small town girl. The town's name is Tambia Lambasa. It's in Vanuatu. It's a small town there. Come from a family of five, where I'm one of the eldest child. There's two other sisters, and one sister passed away, and I've got a brother. All well-to-do, all well-educated. Life wasn't easy back then. My dad was an orphan, and he worked hard to brought up all his kids today, and he's a proud father.
I'm
We
sure he
didn't have
is.
the opportunity to even wear new clothes when my mom and dad brought us up. It's just because dad didn't have that much of earning. He had a farming background. There were no parents for him to support him or guide him along. So we always wore secondhand clothing, secondhand shoes, and we were always given a tag of being poor. But we all sisters and brother are all proud today. My mom and dad are very proud that we are their children have gone and what they have become. And I'm also proud where my sisters, me, myself, and my brother.
Wow, Ananya, that is such an incredible story in itself, an inspiration where mom and dad had to work so hard to feed and to support a family of five. And I know coming from Vanuatu, Lambasa, it's considered a small town, absolutely, where you come from. But I'm sure he'd be very proud to see where his kids are today. So thank you, Ananya, for sharing that. Now, what was life like before pursuing your current chosen path? So obviously, growing up in Lambasa, you moved well, you would have worked a bit in Fiji and moved to New Zealand. So just describe us a little bit about how life was.
So in 2013, I migrated to New Zealand as a single mom. So I was married before, but me and my husband separated when my daughter was 1 year old. So I came to New Zealand on a visitor's visa, and then I met my separate, current separated partner. And I got my residence in citizen, and I started a full-time job. When my first job was in McDonald's, Tirakau Drive.
Wow.
I can never forget. That was my stepping stone. There's a bit of story about it. If time persists, I can share. So I started with McDonald's as a customer service rep, and I was working there for 9 months. And one day, while I was working in the drive-through, one of the guys, because I was wearing a Mangalsutra, so one of the Fiji Indian guys came in, drove through, and he said, "Oh, are you from Fiji?" And I said, "Yes." And he just said to me, "Oh, Fiji Indians don't work in McDonald's." So that thing actually triggered me. I said, "Why did he make that comment?" From
Wow.
that day, I started looking for a job, and my first ever corporate job was with Jaglal Immigration Lawyers. So I started as a legal secretary, and within 2 years, I became his associate. And then I studied legal executive. I became a legal executive. I worked for a couple of law firms. Then I joined Auckland District Court, where I worked for
Wow.
almost more than 6 years. And before
Yeah.
my career changed. I was told to go to Wellington, and I said, no, I can't. And in 2018, one of my friends said, why don't you do insurance? And I said, okay. So while doing full-time job, I took insurance job as a sub-advisor. I was working for a company. So I was working, and I said, why don't I just try? And then I met one of my very good friends, Avinash,
Mm,
and also Shakil Lal. I met them, had a talk with them, and they said, why don't you leave your full-time job and try giving your full energy, your full 8 hours to
mm,
your own company? And I was sitting down, that time I was working, and then I was sitting down in the office one day, and I still remember I had only $350 that day in my bank account. And I said, okay, let me find a company's name and register. But then I said, okay, if it doesn't work, I'll lose my $350 because I was struggling financially as well.
mm,
I said, no, I'll give it a go. So I registered my company.
yeah.
I took the certificate printed out. I took it to Ganesh Mandir. I did the puja and I said it to myself, I'll do it. 2024, June, I registered my company. I started slowly. Last year in August, I decided I'll not work for anyone anymore and I'll go on my own. And since then, I
Wow.
haven't looked back.
Wow.
So the decision made actually after that, the bold step that I took, actually, it has outgrown me. Today, if I sit back and look, I say, well, I can do a lot more than
Mm,
working 8 hours for someone else, earning money for someone else's company. I'm doing it for myself. And I'm earning, I think, threefold of what I was earning in a year. So, yeah, very
wow.
proud.
That is, yeah, that is just incredible. So you're saying you moved to from Fiji to New Zealand as a single
Mom.
mom. You started working in McDonald's,
Yes.
and then there someone triggered you by saying something which you didn't like. It's like Fiji Indians don't belong in McDonald's. But I think if you were to ask me now, I'm saying that's a good thing because it triggered you to move to the next step, which was with Jaguar Lawyers, as you said. From there, you became a legal secretary,
Yes.
right? And then you moved to the High Court. And then from there, you started your insurance business, which you currently own. But I love how you said that it was a difficult decision, right? You only had $350 in your bank, and you knew that if you invested that to register a company, and if the company wouldn't work, you'd have lost that much money. Before we move into your insurance and your career path, now I know that day when you were leaving your full time job to start fully focusing on your business, what was going on inside of your mind for those who may be thinking about starting a business and they're thinking all sorts of things. Should I not? Should I rely on the security of an 8 hour job? What were you thinking when you decided to know that's I am going to commit to my business?
So when I registered and when I actually resigned from my last company that I was working with,
Mm,
I was thinking whether this company is going to work. There are a lot of financial advisors in the industry.
yeah.
I'll have a lot of competition. Where will I get the leads from? Where will my
Mm,
customers come from? But I remembered one thing that I had customers while I was working as a sub advisor. Also, I had faith in myself. So, to the viewers who are watching, I would say always listen to your inner voice.
mm,
I know people will be out there to put you down and say you can't do it. But I think when you are focused and when you are manifesting that I can do it, manifestation works. I tell you, it works. Prayers works. I have seen miracles happening in my life and I'm very
mm,
grateful. So I have since I was struggling in Fiji, he has been my guidance. And whenever I'm struggling, I'm just sitting down there and closing my eyes and saying, please guide me. So I
mm,
put your God, whatever you believe in, whatever religion you are believing, put your God first. And if you put them first,
mm,
your paths, your troubles, your struggles will get cleared and you will actually walk on bed of roses. I know sometimes you will find difficulties, but if you believe in yourself, if you manifest, and if you don't
mm,
listen to people outside or in your circle, you will get what you want. And I'm one of
mm,
the living examples here. Coming from a family which was not able to provide. My dad struggled to provide for us, but I know he's proud today. Like
Mm,
he used to provide food, but clothing and shoes, it was difficult for him to bring up 5 kids. And
mm,
saying that, I feel very proud to call I'm a daughter of a person who has struggled. And today he's sitting smiling every time that he's so proud. So believe in yourself. Do not listen to people outside. There'll be people. It's easy to listen
mm.
to negative things rather than accepting positive things. And there's very less people who are going to bring your positivity out there, make you grow. There are a lot
Mm.
of people who will want you to fall down. So currently, while I'm talking here, I can always say Pritesh has been part of my journey. You as well.
You,
In 2021, when also I did my sister's wedding, he was standing by my side as a pillar of strength to help me in 1 month organize a wedding for my sister, which was a grand one. Until today, people talk about it. So yes, listen to your inner voice. If you want to
Mm.
do something, you can do it. It's believing in your own self and your inner voice. That's what I'm going to say to my viewers today.
Wow, that is very inspirational there, and believing in God and having faith that
Yes.
He will provide the way for you. Two is believing in yourself. That's so important because a lot of times I know that we tend to hear the voices outside that are pulling us down as opposed to uplifting us, right? But it's very important. And I know you mentioned a couple of names. I'd like to go back to that. The importance of having the right people around you before you step into something unknown. So, in your case, going full time into your own business. I think you mentioned Avinash and Shek.
Shakila.
How how important was having the right people, the right support around you before you could run your business?
It was actually very important. So I've known Shakil since I became a sub advisor when he was working for Partners Life. Since then, we are very good friends and we became like a close family. His wife, his
Mm,
mom, they have always stood by my side. Avinash was actually introduced to me by Shakil, and he has also stand as a pillar of strength for me. They guided me. They said, Anu, you can do it. You can do
mm,
it. You are a woman. Obviously, I know because I know they're males, but they're like always standing by my side. They say, you can do it, Anu. We are there to help you. If there's anything, we will
mm,
actually provide you with. But then I said, okay, I'll take it on. I'll take it on. Because just believe in yourself. So having right people with the same
mm,
mindset that you are having, it's really helpful and it's really important.
mm,
Sometimes you have got families. I had an experience. I had a very bad experience actually. I don't think families are there. I don't say they are not there too. Some have good feedback, some don't. I had a
mm.
very bad experience when I fell during Fiji time when I came here as well. I didn't have that support. So my these two friends, I can trust them any time of the night. Even if I call them if I'm in problem, I know they'll be standing at my doors. So that's how important and they are in my life.
Mm. So the right people before you step into something new is very important.
That's very
Trusted people who you
yes,
know will offer you the right advice, who will hold you accountable if you're not doing something right. You
yes,
have people, surround yourself with people who will tell you, no, that's not the right thing.
yeah.
And you trust their opinion, right? So well done. I know if you mentioned you're a solo mom. Now, how did all that play into this? Did that inspire you to do it?
Actually, I've started my insurance career before even they started. So my inspiration was my downfalls. Every time I fail,
Mm,
I say to myself, I can do this thing. So I never wanted to end up in the legal or finance industry. When growing up as a child, I had an ambition of becoming a nurse.
wow. Okay.
So when I came to New Zealand, that perspective totally changed and I joined the legal industry. So
Right.
I was a legal executive and now I'm looking after finance, insurance, which I never knew I would ever be able to end up. So my downfalls, and I think I always had, I was always keen actually, keen to learn
Mm,
new skills, new skill sets, new things in life. So I think my motivation was whenever I fell down, I thought, okay, I'll take a few steps back, but
Mm.
when I started with new step, I actually jump forward. If I took 2 steps back, I have jumped like about 4 or 6 steps
4 or 5.
ahead.
Yeah. That's amazing. Wow.
Yes.
That's
So
very powerful. And a lot of people don't see it this way. You know, your downfalls, your failure, if you deal with it the right way, that can be your greatest motivation rather than you failed at something or you didn't do as expected, rather than going downhill, you actually harnessed the power of that failure and actually decided to jump few steps further, right? And that is incredibly powerful, Ananya. Well done. It takes a lot of self-belief. It takes a lot of confidence to know that you have it in you to overcome that failure and to make that into a positive, right? That's brilliant. Well done. So you had the right people around you and you had gathered enough courage and motivation from your failures to now step into your own business. Now, tell us, day one, where you didn't have to wake up at like 7 in the morning and rush to someone else's office, so to speak, to do your day-to-day job. How was the first day as you started your own business?
the first day I remember, and the first policy I wrote was a client who was on work visa. I realized that, okay, I don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. to get dressed, shower, do my prayers, and sit in the car in the cold because I had my own business. I became my
Mm,
own boss. And then I went to see these clients. My first application was done in the afternoon. The clients were from Fiji. They were on work
mm,
visas. And I was very happy to sign them up. The greatest happiness came to me when they lodged a claim while they were on a work visa and it got
mm.
approved.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It's
So
not
that was
just
my happiness.
it's not just writing insurance, right? It's not just getting a customer, but it's actually serving them in their need. I think that would be such a great fulfillment, isn't it? So, Ananya, tell us, what were some of your challenges from working full time to now your own business owner, where you had to do everything? Where you had to make those calls, and do all your admin work, and actually visit clients. How did you find that transition, and what did you find challenging or rewarding?
So the most challenging part was doing cold calls and getting to the
I
clients.
can imagine.
I hate doing that. I really hate it. Admin part was okay because I have always been an admin staff
Mm,
when I was working. So that was okay. But making cold calls, I was not aware whom I was going to talk to. I only had the number and the person's name. I was not aware how that person's mood would be. Whether if
mm,
I call, okay, hey, someone, I'm not going to take anyone's name. Are you okay? How are you feeling? I'm calling from Kiviana Financial Services, and I'm just wanting to know whether you have currently have insurance. Can I review it, or you don't have insurance? Can I provide you with a code? So it was like always I was thinking, and I was scared for the first time to make cold call to a person. Because at the back of the phone you can't see who's answering the
mm,
call, how that person's mood would be, whether that person will be grumpy, whether that person would be nice. But yeah, my this client who were on work visa,
mm,
my first application, when I called them, they were very nice. They were like very welcoming.
mm.
They took my call. Someone referred to me because my business is mostly working through referrals.
Yeah.
I hardly promote, but I've just started sponsoring a couple of events now lately. I have never done it, but people have approached me to do sponsorship. So I have started giving back to the community. It's not always take, take, take. Now I believe give and take. So the much you give, I think God provides you in 3, 4 folds. So that's what I
Mm,
believe. And I have started supporting a couple of events and organizations, events as well. I'm part of Rotary Botany as well. So, yes, so Sanjishni was very, actually, I'll take that client's name because she'll be very happy to see my podcast. So she was very welcoming, her and her husband, they were very welcoming, and they booked me same time.
mm.
Like they said, sister, they made that contact, and then that contact became a personal contact. So she started addressing me as Gigi.
Mm.
So that was more easy, became more easier for me to go and do the insurance for them. Sat
Right.
there 4 hours, discussed everything, the importance of insurance, everything, and then I closed the deal. Came and did my paperwork, sent them to sign. And they were happy. And now today they are so happy. They've referred me so many clients, and I'm very appreciative of them both.
Mm.
But yeah,
Oh, that's
challenging was cold call.
yeah. Now that I can understand because I don't like cold calls either. But when you make that call and there's a nice warm voice at the other end who is more welcoming and encouraging, it definitely makes a difference, right? Now, and then your business, Kiwiana Financial Services, has a raft of things that it does, but you mentioned insurance and especially trauma. I know there's a story behind why you decided to do insurance.
Yes.
Can you tell our listeners a little bit about that story?
Sure. So when I came to New Zealand, I never knew what insurance was. We never had it in Fiji because I think in Fiji there's a money pit boss. So I came to New Zealand. I had my immigration blood test done, and I found out I was suffering from type 2 diabetes, and that was gestational. I was never aware about that in Fiji. So
Mm.
one of the advisors just walked into my house and he said, "Why don't we get insurance?" And I said, "What is that?" And he said, "Well, this is what it is." And then he started educating us. I said, "Okay." When he did ask for my records, my medical records, the insurance company said, "Oh, we cannot offer her trauma cover because she is diabetic." So I was pretty sad I
Mm.
had only life cover given, which was loaded. So I asked him why, and he said, "Oh, diabetes is not covered because you are like having high percentage of sugar in your blood, and actually it's dangerous because through diabetes you can have other issues as well. So obviously, insurance company doesn't want to take that risk."
Mm.
So I said, "Okay." And then that's when I started finding more about insurance. And then when I found out that it's very common in Indians. Our Indian community is very common. So I started
Diabetes, right?
studying. Yes. So I
Mm.
started studying. And then when I did my level 5 and I tried educating people, I started to find out that people have diabetes nowadays, which is very common. Like it's become a lifestyle, especially type 2. Because we are out of our eating habits, and some people are just sitting down and plus eating our processed food and stuff.
Yeah.
Me, myself, not able to get trauma cover, I thought, why don't I educate our people? How much insurance is important in our life,
Mm.
especially the trauma cover. Life cover is if especially you are getting it for your family, for your extended family after you pass away. Trauma cover is very important in our nowadays life, especially the lifestyle we are living in New Zealand.
Mm.
Lack of exercise, lack of movement. We don't sweat during winter. And the amount of processed food we are eating, everyone is busy. Life is very
Yeah.
busy. So people are having this processed food, rice, roti, relying on bread, carbohydrates. And I thought, why don't I take up this opportunity, become a insurance advisor and advocate people about importance of getting trauma cover insurance.
Mm.
And I know there is one company, I'm not going to name the company, which actually gives trauma cover with people who are having type 2 diabetes. It loads your policy a bit, but it's a good thing that it is providing you diabetes cover.
Mm. Mm.
So till now, as an advisor, I have been in the advising industry for past 9 to 10 years now, and I don't have trauma cover because my diabetes has been elevated and it's going up and down till now. I'm going for my medical test end of this month, and probably my sugar level goes a bit down, and maybe I'll put my application for trauma to this company which is offering, and hopefully
Mm.
I get a good answer and good news. But to my viewers, if you don't have insurance, or if you have insurance by bank, because banks don't underwrite policies, they just give you, like, if you go to a pharmacy and you need a headache tablet for temporary relief, you can buy it, right? So it is like buying insurance from the bank. It is same. But when you go to a doctor, the doctor evaluates you and prescribes you the
Yeah.
medication for long term. That's how insurance advisors work. So if you need a proper cover, and you need a well underwritten cover. So your medical notes are all gone to the insurance company and it's underwritten, well underwritten policy. To contact me, I'm here to help you. I am here to guide you even through your application, through your underwriting process, and to your claim process. Trauma cover is very important, and I would strongly emphasize on people who don't have it.
Oh, that's amazing, Ananya. Two things you said that's very profound for me. One was your why, and your why was because you were in a vulnerable situation, right, with your health condition. You were not able to get cover, insurance cover, and specifically trauma. You decided to use that again as your why to help others who may be in that vulnerable stage of life. Uh, that your advice, your whatever you undertook as the insurance advisor, that you are able to help them. Yeah, that's such a powerful why, right? You go through a situation and then whatever you learn, you help others so that you can pull them out of their situation based on your learnings, right? And that's how you became an insurance advisor. And especially, you talk a lot about the importance of trauma cover.
Yes.
I think, yeah, that's the second thing I was going to say is that there are a lot of vulnerable people out there in the community with some underlying health conditions, and getting trauma cover could be a bit difficult. But if or if they would want to even have a talk with you to understand what is happening, then they're most welcome to contact you. I think that's powerful, and I'll say it again for our viewers: if there's anyone with underlying health conditions, and if your insurance application may have been rejected, please, even as a second opinion, do call Ananya. Feel free to just even have a friendly conversation, and I'm sure with all her wisdom and whatever amazing work she has done in the industry, she'd be most happy to advise you. Now, Ananya, as we draw towards the close of our conversation, a couple of questions for you. One, through your journey, right, from Fiji, coming here, finding a job at McDonald's, to then becoming a legal secretary, and then now owning your own business, what are some of the most important lessons in life that you have learned?
First one is always believe in yourself. Do not let negativity stop you from what you're wanting to do. Thirdly, I would say your future is not defined by where you come from. No matter you come from a small town or a big town. If you are honest with your own self, if you trust your inner self, an inner child, make your story your strength.
That's powerful.
And if you want to do something, step out of your comfort zone into it. Always say, you can do it. Don't listen to people because I have heard this, or you can't do it. There are many advices. Where are you going to get the clients from? Wasting your time. You don't have that empathy. But today I'm sitting here as one of the living examples for you. If you want to, you can do it. If you don't want to, so there's a saying, if you take the horse to the well, if it wants to drink the water, it will. If it doesn't, you can't push the horse in the well to drink the water. So there
Right.
you go.
Yeah, and that's powerful because it needs to start from you, right? It needs to be you who stands up, who steps up. A door may open for you. It's waiting, but you need to put your step forward, isn't it?
Yes.
And I think you said it very rightly that you are a living example, a humble beginning. Even moving here, life wasn't easy. There are a lot of struggles. While you still came through reasonably difficult times with family, moved here, it wasn't just all roses for you right away. You know, you had to find your own self. You needed to go through that journey that built resilience and character in you, and which you actually embraced with both hands. And then using whatever you grew into as a human being to then fulfill one of your dreams, which was to be the owner of your brand. Nanya, thank you for your time. But before we close and we talk about your brand, Kiriana Financial Services Limited, are you able to briefly tell us what does Kiriana Financial Services specialize in? What does it do?
So Kiriana Financial Services Limited, it specializes in insurance, personal insurance. And I've got a business partner who does general insurance as well. So, personal insurance meaning life, trauma, income protection, mortgage protection, specific injury cover, and
Mm,
business insurance. I also have a lawyer who does will. There's a company which provides actually a subsidiary for doing wills when you get your insurance done with me.
mm,
So yes, we do wills as well. And for general insurance, I have got a business partner as well as fire in general, meaning contact your house, your car, and everything. So
mm.
that's what Kiwiana Financial Services actually does. Kiwiana, the name came from Kiwi in Fijian, Anna. So it combines Fiji and New Zealand both together, Fijian and Kiwi. So it
Ah,
came, my thought actually ran through there that I'm a Fijian, a Fijian, and I'm a citizen of a Kiwi land. So that name came from there.
oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful that your brain must mean something, right?
Yes.
And to you, it's the born in Fiji, grew up in Fiji, but moved to New Zealand. So you've combined your homeland to your land now that you're
Yeah.
citizen, that you are a citizen of, which is New Zealand. Thank you, Ananya. That was just wonderful. Just listening to your stories, the struggles you've gone through, to then becoming who you are today, and now being one of the leading insurance advisors in New Zealand. And I'm sure for any of our viewers for any advice on any sort of insurance, whether Ananya provides it or no, she will be able to help you. She will be able to lead you to someone if there's something that you require that she doesn't do. But if you need insurance in the core areas that Ananya mentioned, be it your trauma or your home insurance, personal insurance, content, fire, and general that she'll be happy to help with, but more so will. Will is something we don't look into quite often, but I think I realized the importance of having a will because we don't know how life can turn for us, right? Now, any final closing words before we wrap up our podcast?
My final message to my viewers will be always stay grounded. No matter how much you grow financially, from a advisor's point of view, always go into your client's shoes to understand their requirements. Do not have that ego attitude. Live life and enjoy. Try to help each other. It's not always taking from people, it's also giving. So stay grounded. You are not going to take anything with you when you go on your final journey.
Mm.
Only things you're going to take is your good deeds. So being a financial advisor, that is my advice to my viewers.
Brilliant. Ananya, thank you so much. You've just wrapped it up so nicely. Right, thank you for your time. And to our viewers, thank you so much. We will see you in our next episode of the 3i Stories podcast by Better Version of You. See you. Thank you.